What if I told you that the heaviest thing you carry around every single day isn't your responsibilities or your deadlines, but a single, tiny two-letter word? It's a word you probably use constantly without even thinking about it. Today, we're going to look at a really simple shift in your language that could, seriously, end the war you might be fighting with yourself.
Wow, that's a pretty intense statement, isn't it? But stick with me here. The idea behind this is that every single time we say, I should, we're kind of admitting we're not really in the driver's seat. We're answering to some invisible standard that, let's be honest, we probably didn't even set for ourselves.
And this is really the heart of what we're unpacking today. What if you're not actually lazy, or undisciplined, or a failure? What if you've just been using the wrong tool for the job? A word that's basically designed to make you feel guilty instead of actually getting you to act. Let's dig in. Okay, section 1, let's really get into why this little word should is so damaging. It's almost like a hidden enemy that lives in our own minds, constantly setting us up for a battle we just can't win. So the key thing to get here is that should is almost never about what you truly want. It's all about some external standard you've picked up from everywhere: culture, your family, society. And what it does is create this painful, nagging gap between who you are right now and this perfect imaginary version of who you think you're supposed to be. And this is the great trick of the word should. It feels like it's supposed to be motivating, right? You tell yourself, I should work on that project. But what really happens? You don't do it, and the project just sits there, getting heavier and heavier with dread. Or, I should eat healthier. And we eat the exact same things, but now we feel this layer of shame on top of it. It doesn't actually help you take action. It just makes you feel worse about not taking it. And all of this leads directly into this really nasty, vicious cycle. We're calling it the should spiral, and it's a pattern that keeps so many of us completely stuck in this loop of guilt and, well, doing nothing. So let's just walk through this. It's so familiar. First, you spot a should. Maybe you see someone on social media doing something you're not. Step 2, because it's not coming from inside you, you don't do it. Step 3, cue the guilt. You feel like a failure. Then step 4, that should gets added to this ever-growing list of all the other things you should be doing. And finally, the list gets so ridiculously long you just freeze. You're totally overwhelmed, everything feels like a chore, and nothing feels like your own choice. So, if should is the problem, what's the answer? Well, this is where that simple two-letter shift we talked about comes into play. It's all about swapping out the tyranny of should for the simple clarity of would. Just take a second and feel the difference here. I should go to the gym. It feels heavy, right? It sounds like a judgment. Now, try this one on. I would like to exercise more. See? It's lighter. It's not a command. It's just an observation about yourself, a statement of desire. And this is the real game changer. Would isn't a command you have to obey. It's a tool for figuring things out. It reframes the entire problem from, I'm a failure, to, there's a problem to solve here. It invites you to ask why. I would exercise more, if. And that little if right there, that's where the magic is. That's where you find out what's really holding you back. This is the absolute core of the shift. Guilt just keeps you stuck, looking backwards at all the ways you've messed up. But data gives you information you can actually use to move forward. Would is your tool for gathering that data about what you really want, what's really in your way, and what truly matters to you. Okay, so let's make this really practical. How does this actually look in the real world? We're going to go through a few examples of how you can turn that vague, paralyzing guilt into clear, actionable information. Let's start with your career. The should trap sounds like this. I should be applying to better jobs. And the result? You feel stuck. Maybe you resent your current job, but you just end up doom scrolling on LinkedIn, never actually applying. The would path changes that to, I would like more challenging work. Bam, suddenly you have data. Can I get that challenge here in my current role, or do I need to look for a new one? It creates a real choice, a real path forward. It's the exact same thing with health. We've all been here. I should lose weight. What happens? That gym membership you bought becomes what the source calls a monthly guilt tax. You pay for it just to feel bad about not using it. But what if you switch that to, I would like to feel stronger? Now you're not punishing yourself, you're chasing a positive feeling. And that might just lead you to find a way to move your body that you actually enjoy. And this totally applies to our relationships too. The classic, I should be more social, makes every party invitation feel like homework. But what if you dig deeper and realize, you know what, I would like deeper connections? Well, then you might start saying no to those huge draining parties and saying yes to a one-on-one coffee with a friend. You start aligning your actions with what you actually need, not what you think you're supposed to want.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually start doing it? Let's break it down into a super simple, practical process that you can literally start using the second this is over. So here's your new practice. Step 1, just start noticing when you say should to yourself. Just catch it. Step 2, get curious. Ask yourself, hey, where did this rule come from? Who's talking right now? Step 3, do the translation. Rework the sentence into I would like to or I would prefer to. Step 4, and this is the most important one, add the conditions. I would if. That's how you uncover the real roadblock. And finally, step 5, make a conscious choice. Do you actually want to solve for that if, or is this not really a priority for you right now? And this, honestly, might be the most freeing part of this entire process, because sometimes after you translate that should into a would, the honest-to-God answer is, actually, you know what? I wouldn't. Realizing that you've been beating yourself up over a goal you don't even truly want, that is incredibly powerful. That's not failure, that is freedom. It is incredibly valuable information. So, what does this all add up to? What's the big picture here? Well, it's about so much more than just changing a word. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with yourself. It's about taking back control. It's about reclaiming your agency. Think about what actually changes when you do this. You clear out all that mental noise from 100 different shoulds all screaming at you. You start taking action that you can actually stick with because it's coming from a place of real desire. You massively reduce shame because you're making choices instead of judging yourself. You start to see exactly where your life is out of alignment with your real values. And maybe most importantly, you go from being a passenger in your own life, always failing to meet someone else's standards, to being the one in the driver's seat. So let me leave you with this final thought. The war with yourself doesn't end with more willpower or more discipline. It ends when you stop trying to enforce a bunch of laws that you never even wrote in the first place. It ends when you give yourself permission to operate from what you would choose, not what you think you should do. So the only real question left is, would you?